Bājiquán, the explosive martial art built for real combat. Forget everything you think you know about Kung Fu. Forget the graceful, flowing movements of wuxia films, the acrobatic kicks, and the elaborate dance-like forms. This is not that. This is Bājíquán, the 8 Extremes Fist, the bodyguard's art. The martial system forged in the most dangerous places imaginable. The narrow gatehouses, chaotic courtyards, and dark alleyways of Imperial China. Its practitioners weren't performers, they were protectors. Men whose job was to move a client through a hostile crowd and end a threat before it could even begin. That job shaped everything about this art, and today we're unlocking its secrets. To understand Bājíquán, you have to understand the job. Picture the streets of late Qing and early Republic North China. Stone lanes, narrow doorways, and men carrying hidden blades. Guards stood at city gates and office compounds. Escort crews walked officials and merchants between towns. Fights didn't start with a respectful bow from across a courtyard. They started inside touching distance, with a sudden grab or a knife pulled from a sleeve. Bājíquán was tuned for that brutal reality. You don't back away. You close the gap on purpose. You own the center line. You knock a body into a wall or a pillar before a second person can even join the fight. This isn't about honor or fairness. It's about ending the threat decisively and immediately. Old accounts tied Bāji to Cangzhou and Mengcun in Hebei province, places legendary for their hard training and professional fighters. These weren't tournament champions. They were men who put their lives on the line every single day. In the 1920s and 30s, when China's government tried to standardize martial training for military and police use, Bājíquán made the cut because it solved real-world problems that other, more flowery styles couldn't. It wasn't a sport. It was a tool for survival in the most dangerous situations imaginable. When you watch older teachers, you can see the job in their choices. Every movement has a purpose. There's no fencing at long range, no spinning for show, no wasted motion. A small deceptive step closes the distance before the opponent even realizes you've moved. The forearms meet the opponent's with a heavy, bone-jarring thud. The body bumps through their stance like a freight train, and the finish is a hard, definitive strike that stops all movement. That is what a working guard needs. Not flash, not points, just the ability to protect a client and walk away alive. People call Bājíquán explosive. Here is what that actually means. The style teaches you to connect your feet, hips, ribs, shoulders, and hands so they land on one single shared beat. This is the essence of Fajin, or explosive power release. The tools are simple and brutal at close range. The elbow strike is zhou. The shoulder bump is kao. The short, shocking punch is Bājíquán. A rising strike that lifts the opponent off their feet is ding. None of these need a big wind-up. The step lands and the entire frame of your body arrives at once. On pads, you can feel the difference immediately. Good Bāji looks small and compact until the target jumps. The elbow doesn't swing wide in a telegraphed arc. It drops through the guard as the ribs and hips finish the turn, all in one brutal, unified motion. The shoulder isn't a lazy shrug. It wedges under the breastbone and makes the feet forget the floor, lifting the opponent off balance. Even a palm strike, delivered on that same explosive beat, feels like a battering ram that goes straight through the torso, not just pushing, but penetrating. The secret is the stomp, the chen chao. The footwork and the strike are one unified action, not two separate movements. The stomp doesn't just make noise for intimidation. It drives your body weight into the ground, creating a solid, immovable base for the explosion of power that follows. It's physics, not magic. The conditioning drills are old school and brutally honest. No fancy equipment, no high-tech gadgets. Elbow drops on a sandbag hanging from a tree. Shoulder ramps against a padded shield or a tire leaning against a wall. Short-range strikes on a focus pad pressed tight against a partner's chest. So tight you can feel their heartbeat. There is no mystery here. No secret technique passed down from ancient monks. You are simply teaching the nervous system to fire as one cohesive unit, over and over, until it becomes automatic. When the timing is perfect, when every joint fires on that same beat, you get that signature Bāji effect. Small movement, big devastating impact. It's the difference between pushing a car and crashing into one. The footwork is the quiet part of the art that makes the devastating hits land. Bāji steps are short, heavy, and triangular, designed to close the distance without telegraphing your intention. You don't glide for show, you set the floor under you right before impact. Many teachers add a light stomp, the Cangzhou, so your weight drops a split second early. That pin-the-ground feeling gives the strike an unshakable foundation. The chest always points forward, so the center line is always yours. You're not chasing the opponent, you're controlling the geometry of the fight. If the opponent tries to circle away, Bāji has a simple, brutal answer. A cross step and a small turn that pours them right back onto your line of attack, like water flowing downhill. Then, the elbow, palm, or shoulder finishes the job before they can recover. In practice, this looks like crash and pour. One step closes the distance. The forearms make brief, hard contact to disrupt their structure. The hips turn, and the other person's body slides into a wall, a post, or the ground. It's not a wrestling match. It's a controlled demolition. This footwork is essential in real-world spaces where most fights actually happen. Gates, corridors, courtyards with pillars, crowded marketplaces. You learn to own the middle and keep moving forward, always maintaining awareness of your client's position. There are no big looping sidesteps that waste time and energy, no flashy spins that might lose track of the person you're protecting or expose your back to another attacker. Just enough of an angle to make your entry safe and your structure solid. Then a clean, efficient dump that opens a path forward and keeps the momentum going. In a real protection scenario, hesitation kills. Bāji teaches you to move with absolute certainty. Ask older Bāji groups about weapons, and you'll hear the same two words, big spear. The Liuhe Daqiang, the Six Harmony Great Spear, is a signature training tool and a brutal teacher. The pole is long and heavy, often over 10 feet and weighing several pounds. It forces honest structure because you cannot cheat with a weapon that size. Your ankles, knees, hips, spine, and shoulders must fire together in a perfect kinetic chain, or the spear won't move. If one joint is late or out of place, if your timing is off by even a fraction of a second, the spear will tell on you immediately. It will wobble. It will feel dead in your hands. That exact body map, that perfect coordination, carries straight into the empty hand techniques. The same explosive drive that sends a spear tip through armor, sends a shoulder through a chest, or an elbow through a guard. The weapon is the teacher, and the lesson is unforgiving. Now let's talk about the partner that often sits beside Bāji, Bājíquán, the hacking and hanging palm. Where Bāji is short, direct, and explosive, Bājíquán is long, whipping, and circular. It uses loose, relaxed shoulders and big arcing palm strikes to crack a guard at the edge of reach, like a whip snapping. The pairing is famous because it works on a fundamental level. It's a complete system that covers all ranges. Whip to enter and break the structure, crash to finish and end the fight. Many teachers in North China and Taiwan taught them together for that exact reason. You can watch mixed sets where a long, splitting Bājíquán palm breaks the opponent's guard and disrupts their balance. And then the step shortens in a heartbeat, and a Bāji elbow lands before the opponent's foot can even finish its step. Two answers, one devastating rhythm. It's like having a sniper rifle and a shotgun. Different tools, same lethal intent. So what does this all look like up close? Bāji classes start closer than most people expect. Partner drills often begin with the forearms already in contact. Then the hit comes. One common pattern goes like this. Forearms meet. The step lands with a stomp. The shoulder bumps the center. The elbow drops through the guard. Another pattern lets a straight punch come in. Your forearm picks it off the line. You step across. Your hip pours the other person's body into the wall before they can reset. These are not choreographed skits. They are short, brutal chains built for the distance where real trouble happens. The 6 harmonies idea shows up in cues from teachers. Feet match hands, knees match elbows, hips match shoulders. That sounds poetic until you feel it. When all 6 parts arrive at the same time, the target folds. When the timing is off, everything feels weak. So the training is designed to keep the pieces honest. Stance holds that force. The hips stay level while moving. Pad rams with the shoulder. Elbow drops that don't travel far but still make the heavy bag jump. Lineage names come up because people want proof that this art worked for real jobs. Older stories talk about bodyguards who used this method in the courtyards of the Forbidden City and on the streets of Tianjin. You see the same logic in more modern settings. Keep the client moving, control the middle, and grabs in one beat, and exit without a wrestling match. If you prefer tape over tails, watch how good Baji practitioners handle themselves in mixed-rule sparring. Once forearms connect, the Baji frame is comfortable, and the long-range fighter is not. The entry doesn't need a big swing. The finish doesn't need a long wind-up. It's a shoulder, an elbow, or a short punch that lands on the exact beat the feet set. Bajiquan came from real jobs and hard rooms. It's not about looking good. It's about being effective. Small steps, one count, space secured. That is why, even today, it still feels like an explosion at arm's length. On Marshall Road, we follow those shadows. Remember to subscribe, like, and share, and see where they lead.